eternal Father, strong to save, whose arm hath bound the restless wave, who bids the mighty ocean deep its own appointed limits keep. Oh, hear us when we cry to thee, for those in peril on the sea. Lord, guard and guide the men who fly, and those who on the ocean ply. Be with our troops upon the land, and all who for their country stand. Be with these guardians day and night, and may their trust be in thy might. Creator Father, grant, we pray, to those who serve both night and day, who stretch their rigs across the sea to service ships where'er they be. Oh, bless their efforts cross the foam and bring them ever safely home.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think of that? Welcome to Sea Power Naval Combat in the Missile Age. This is a game I've been watching footage for quite a little while now. Gonna be a good few weeks. Yeah, I'm still interested in naval warfare, even though I've traditionally always been more into what's it called? World War II, like the sort of big gun battleships and all that. But this is different. This is a more modern. It's got a sort of cut-off of 1985. So it goes sort of from the 60s to the 80s. There's potential for some earlier or later ships to enter the game, such as VLS version of the Ticonderoga and the Arleigh Burke destroyer. But at the minute, it's a pretty comprehensive game. It's still in early access, which is how I've got the code. I've got managed to. Well, I finally. What's the word? Yeah, I decided I broke through my suspicion of the emails on my business email, because it came through. It's come through a couple of times now, I think, but I finally bit the bullet and said, what's the harm in just asking? And I got a code, so here I am, Sea Power, and I've had a little bit of a go at it. Not been doing much, I've just been macking around in this Encyclopedia, just doing the, you can actually control some of the aircraft and stuff in the Encyclopedia. It's not exactly comprehensive. That's not really the word, but you can't do everything in there. You can't shoot all the guns and stuff because you need targets sometimes. So that's one thing. We'll have a look at the Encyclopedia just to give you an idea of exactly how much stuff there is. So here we have Project 58 Missile Cruiser, better known as the Kinder class. Kinder? This is kind of weird because I actually have a book in my storage, the Soviet War Machine, and it includes quite a lot of these old Soviet ships, which is I mean, that book is blimey, 40, 50 years old. The newest material in there is the T-72, and it was like some new scary battle tank at the time, and now, not so much. Still, it's cool to see these ships in actual action. What's going on? Why can't I move it? There we go. Look at that. Look at this thing. Ooh, bit of a screen tearing there. We can see... Oh, but oh, I thought I fixed that. That should be on high. VSync, we're going to need... Oh, put it on alternating frames. If it's even going to work. Ooh, frame rate does not look as good anymore. Maybe we'll turn it off. Can't tell. Still, this is a very... It's a decent looking game. I mean, if you look really close, then yeah, you can see the holes in it. I mean, that doesn't look particularly great up close. There's an AK-630 Wiz. You can tell that they're four-sided polygons, but from this kind of distance, it doesn't matter too much. Because usually this is the closest you're going to get. Ooh, there we go. So we've got these, are these the Silex? Or are they... Yes. No, these are SSN-3 Shadok P-35 Progress missiles. It has 8 of them. Advanced for the time that this ship was new, not so much anymore. SA-N1 Goa, the naval version of the SA-3 Goa, hence the same name. That's what the N stands for, it means naval, so this is SA-N1, but the normal version is SA-3. Set-65 anti-submarine torpedo. Now, it feels a bit silly that you can't shoot these at ships, because, I mean, any damage is good damage, if you ask me. But, eh. It's also got RBU 6000. This is essentially a souped-up version of a Hedgehog mortar. It has... How many barrels is that? I think it's... 1, 2, 3, 4... I think that's 7. You know what we can do? We can test it. But which way is the ship heading? We will put the ship into ahead 1/3, and there we go. We have an idea of the direction that the ship is heading. Select the RBUs. Minimum range is denoted by the yellow circle here. And open fire. Nope, it's right click. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's 6. 6 barrels on each side of the RBU 6000. Whilst the shorter range RBU 1000 only has 6 barrels in total. Also much shorter range. AK-726. Guns on the rear of the ship, and AK-630 Sea-Wiz. And you can see that there's a huge amount of ships here. We have rafts, assault raft, life rafts. Oh, SEAL or Spetsnaz. Oh, there's the RBUs going off. Does it change? Let's see. Way, there's the SEALs. Spetsnaz doesn't change. We've got dhow fishing boats, normal fishing trawlers, Okean, is that how it's pronounced? It's Russian, I think. Ocean class trawler. The Soviets also used modified versions of these as spy ships, which you can see here. We have Okean class spy ship, and it's similar looking, just slightly different. Get the side trawler as well. Ooh. And you've got all kinds of general cargo ships, sampan, Amber class. I'm not sure how many of these were real. It might just be generic ships, but it could be that some of these vessels were real. And some of these ships are newer than others. Like this one looks fairly modern. Whilst this one has a bunch of cranes on it, this one looks like it would have been made just after the war. Bulk carrier. Look at that. If anything, that reminds me of a bridge class. Ooh, that's not what I want. Yes. The bridge. NV Derbyshire. I wonder if this is meant to be the same class of ship as the Derbyshire, or just something similar. I get the feeling it is actually the Derbyshire. And it's got a spare propeller on the deck. I never noticed that. Oop, we've gone too far. Ah! There we go. Still getting used to the controls here. Yeah, they do have different names. English bridge. It is meant to be the bridge. And you can get a generic version of the ship without a name, or you can get a version with the name. Yeah, English bridge, Venice bridge. Which one was the Derbyshire? I think it was the English bridge. I'm gonna check that right now, actually. Liverpool bridge. So she's not here, which I suppose is understandable because the Derbyshire was lost at sea. I think she'd actually been lost at sea by the time that this game generally takes place. 1980 versus a 1985 cutoff for the game. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of ships. We've got car carriers. Look at these things. And tankers, super tanker, medium tanker, all kinds of things. Roll-on, roll-offs. And finally we get to the first of our combat vessels. The German Leutchens. Blimey. It's been a long time since I've spoken German. I took German classes, but never really needed it before. Leutchens. German version of the Adams class destroyer. I do believe 2 of these have been preserved, which is quite nice. The only Adams class ships left, I believe. Then we've got the British battle class. Funnily enough, the only weapons that are available are the 4.5 inches, when it clearly has torpedo tubes. So I wonder if this ship isn't quite finished yet, because I can only select the 4.5 inches, which are the guns on the bow here. C-class destroyer, a war emergency destroyer, very similar to the HMS Samaras, and the other ships of the 26 destroyer flotilla that appeared in my last gunfight video. The last battle of the Haguro, or however it went. Very similar ship, built to the same war emergency program. Z-class, I suppose, is a bit closer because it's actually got a 4th turret. Smaller, maybe. Don't know. Then we've got the American version of the Adams. It has a standard missile 1 medium range. I believe that's what the MR stands for. I believe these come up on these twin rails here. There is a difference between late Adams and early Adams, because there's some additional radar. The twin rail launcher gets replaced by a quicker firing single rail launcher. Not many of the Adams were upgraded though. I do believe. With the Kuntz class. And the boxy ASRock launcher here, RUR5. We'll show you how that works, actually. There you go. RUR5. We'll shoot off all 8 torpedoes, which we can do. It's been a more recent update. Oh, hang on, I needed that. There we go. Fire off the torpedoes. Very strange launcher. I would have thought that the entire thing would rotate, but no, it's made up of 4 blocks that each carry 2 torpedoes, which is quite different. Quite different indeed. Can I shoot down those torpedoes? No. Try and give it a go with the anti-air missiles. Of course, it's not just destroyers that we have. We've got all kinds of destroyers. Hannon class, Cashin class, Udaloy class, Sovrameni. Sovrameni in Wargame Red Dragon is a very dangerous ship, actually. Because it gets access to P-270 Mosquet missiles, which outrange the Harpoon. But I think in this game, SAN-7 Gadfly gets Sunburst. Oh, it does get the Mosquet. Okay, that's what the SSN-22 is. Yeah. I don't really know. Like, sometimes it can be difficult to connect which missile is which. So SSN-22 Sunburn doesn't always click as P-270 Mosquet. I believe it's quite an advanced missile. Oh, we've got this RBU-1000 here. SAN-7 Gadfly, which Uragan. Buck. SA-11. Yes. The Buck. Let's launch off one of these SSN-22s, if we can. It's got a minimum range. There you go. Look at it go! Ah! And it's a sea skimmer. Look how fast it is! 1,600 knots. That is incredible speed. The Russians really did like their supersonic anti-ship missiles into the ocean because it didn't have a target. I wonder, can these torpedoes home in on the ship? Because these are the, what's it called? Anti-submarine Mark 46 torpedoes. So let's give these torpedoes something to... Let's see if they'll actually lock onto the ship. They probably won't. But who knows? You never know. And as you can see, RBU-1000, that's the range. So if we had RBU-6000s, we'd probably be easily able to lock onto these. But we can't. Actually, the RBUs can be used to take out torpedoes, which is odd. But I guess that's something you can do these days. It's not something I would have thought of being able to do in... what's it called? In World War II. Have those torpedoes locked on? I think they might have. Oh, no, they're just going in a circle. That's a noisemaker. Maybe it will attract the torpedoes. No, they're not interested. Okay. I tried. I'll go back to head 1/3. What other ships do we have? Well, we've got Of course, the mighty Iowa class. She is, the USS Missouri. We can't fire the guns because there's no target, which is sad. Ah, no. This torpedo is just going to be screaming for ages. Let's see. We've got these RGM-109B Tomahawks, or the anti-ship missiles. It also has RGM-84 Harpoons. RGM-109C is the land attack variant of the Tomahawk, the T-LAN. I think we still need a target for these, though, to try and fire them. Let's have a go.
Roger that.
Is it going to fire? Yes, it is going to pick them up.
Bulldog away. Track.
There we go. Goes one of those missiles. What about the... Can we get it to... There we go. Similar launchers then.
Bulldog away. Track.
There it goes. Flying at an angle. There we go. It's finally realised it's probably not meant to fly at an angle. Yes, the mighty Iowa class battleship. It was these were recommissioned due to the threat of the Kirov class battle cruisers. They're not under battleships though; they're under missile cruisers. Where is it? There we go. Kirov. We only have the Kirov itself at the minute because. Kirov and her later sister ships were kind of different. So you see, Kirov has these two single-barrel 100mm guns, whereas her sister ships had a single dual-mount 130mm gun. Very interesting. SAN-6 Grumble, S300, SAN-4 is the Osa / Gecko, SSN-19, this is the one that we really want to see, because this is the shipwreck missile, P700 Granite, extremely smart missile for the 1980s. Extremely smart. They've got a maximum range of 378 nautical miles. And if you fire these off all at once, it's weird because one of them will act as AWACS for the other and designate targets. They will. With earlier missiles, if you shot them all at once, they'd all go at the same target. These will be able to determine their own targets. It's incredible what they can do. I'm not sure why there's smoke. I thought that the Kirov was nuclear powered, but maybe the Kirov itself was not. Yeah, shipwreck missiles still very dangerous today. I think they're a bit more easily countered since they are a 40-year-old tech, but still a extremely dangerous missile if it gets within range. Also has the SSN-14A variant of the Silex missile. This is such a strange weapon. It's essentially a missile that carries a torpedo, an anti-submarine torpedo in the case of the SSN-14A, and then there's the SSN-14B, which carries a UGMT-1 torpedo, which is multi-purpose. It has a high explosive anti-tank warhead and a shaped charge warhead, I suppose, would be more fitting of a term. And as we can see, the A variant can only be used against submarines, so this missile will fly over the target area and drop the torpedo, and then the main body of the missile falls into the ocean. The SSN-14B can do the exact same thing, but it can also act as a shorter ranged anti-ship missile. So, you know, we'll select these. I wonder where these fire from, actually. SSN-14... Oh, there we are. That's where they launch from. The very front of the ship, and there we go. Oh, that's a bit too close, isn't it? So watch as this goes. It's got a couple of boosters. I believe these are called sustainers on the back. It's a very slow missile. Only doing 565 knots, but when it reaches the target area, it's going to drop this torpedo. There we go. And it will drop into the ocean. Much like the Azroks. This is essentially the Russian version of the Azrok. And there goes the rest of it. It's sort of... Oh! We've got a little bug with the sonar there. As we can see, it's still early access. Apparently it's number 71 now. It was 70 when I tested an hour ago. Yes, SSN-14B, the missile doesn't drop the torpedo, it just flies straight into the ship, like any other missile. I wonder what TARKR means. I'm not sure. Got a whole bunch of other weapons. We've got chaff, noisemakers, 30mm CIWS, the 100mm guns, Set 65 anti-submarine torpedoes, RBU-1 and 1000 and 6000s. Let's give these these almighty shipwrecks a go. Look at that. That is a sight that would strike fear into any NATO sailor. Akirov launching shipwrecks. Such a fitting name. Extremely powerful warhead, extremely smart missiles. Most of them will be sea skimmers. And they're generally quite fast missiles. They should be picking up their speed. Or maybe they're quite slow, I'm not sure. But there should be one that is at a higher altitude than the others. I guess there's no target that's actually been properly designated. Oh, hang on, there is one. There we go! Here's the one flying above the others as the AWACS. You can see the other missiles down below, skimming. Whilst this one is looking for targets, they're of course not going to find anything. This is just the Encyclopedia, but these are such intelligent missiles. It's incredible. I never knew this until I first started watching videos about sea power, namely Wolfpack 345. He was the guy who told me what these missiles can do. I had no idea. I always thought missiles were just a straight point and shoot, essentially. But now I know that these things are just extremely intelligent, at least for the 1980s. Just an engineering marvel of their time. These days, I guess they're still pretty good. I wouldn't know. Oh, our torpedoes have finally run out of fuel and they're exploding right off the port. Rear quarter, I'd call that. Port after. I can't remember what they call it. It's not just the battleships and the missile cruisers. We do have the Ticonderoga, but it's the early Ticonderoga with the twin-arm launchers. These days they have the VLS launch tubes. They didn't make very many of the twin-arm variant of the Ticonderogas, and all of them have been decommissioned and scrapped now, including this one. CGN-49, USS Vincennes' infamous vessel. Anyway, what else do we have? Landing ships, aircraft carriers. We got all kinds of aircraft carriers. We got the Nimitz, which is due, I believe, to be decommissioned next year. She's an old ship now. Extremely, just fascinating, fantastic ship. Still capable. But I guess she's getting old. She's not as useful anymore. Let's go a bit faster. Nuclear powered, of course. You will note that not every ship is available. The Enterprise is not here because she was unique, but, well, the America was unique as well. USS America, originally going to be an Enterprise class nuclear powered aircraft carrier, but in the end was converted to a Kitty Hawk class, though she's a little bit different. You can see that she doesn't have an anchor on her port bow there, and she apparently has a extra, I thought it was a spare anchor at the stern, but I guess it's here instead. Compare this to a standard Kitty Hawk, if we can find it. Kitty Hawk and Constellation. The John F. Kennedy isn't here either. There we go. So very slightly different ships. Yeah. Very similar, but different. Then we've got the Forrestal. I love the Forrestals. It's a shame they're all gone now. They were on donation hold for about 20 years, but it's very expensive to look after a ship like this. CVA technically. CV-59, USS Saratoga, CV-60 Ranger, CV-61 Independence, CV-62. I love these ships. However, in the game, they're not quite as capable. Even though it's visibly got 4 catapults, it can only use 3 of them. And the best aircraft, well, the fighter jet it has access to is the F-4J Phantom. So everything else, I believe, is exactly the same. It's just that it has F-4s instead of F-14s. Yes. So not quite as capable as her newer cousins. We did that, didn't we? Let's go back to aircraft carriers. We've got the Moskva helicopter carrier, anti-submarine carrier. At least it can launch 4 K-825 Hormone helicopters, and it carries up to 14 ASW Hunter, ASW Killer, K-825. They only built 2 of these, and I believe they were not very good vessels. They didn't have very particularly long service lives, if I recall. Maybe I'm wrong there. Service ships. Let's see, what else do we have? We have the Kiev class, Kiev, and the Minsk, and the Novorossiysk, I don't know how you pronounce that. Originally these were going to be fully blown carriers, I believe, but in the end they were turned into sort of hybrid attack carriers. Oh yes, the Minsk. Yes, this is the one that caught fire in China. And she sustained tremendous damage, and I do wonder if she will ever be repaired. The Chinese will probably scrap her. At least one, though, is still going as a carrier. It's been completely rebuilt into a carrier, and that I believe is now the Chinese carrier Liaoning. I'm not sure if that's the proper name for it. Gets access to KA-25s, KA-27s, and Yak-38 forgers. The short takeoff and landing Soviet fighter jet that was basically a bad Harrier. And we do have one other aircraft carrier here. One that never existed, the Oral. Look at this thing. Never got off the ground. Only existed on paper, but in order for this thing to exist, it too had to have missiles. And of course, what other missiles could it possibly have had other than the very same SSN-19 shipwrecks? Look at them right there between the front two catapults. 16 tubes. Another fun fact about the shipwreck, these were originally, I believe they were originally made to be submarine launched. So in order to fire them from a ship, you have to flood the tube with water. Unbelievable. Submarines as well, including the Oscar class, which is the ship that would boat, I like as they call them, that would have these SSN-19s. Also gets access to the SSN-16, which is an anti-submarine ASROC, essentially. We'll show you what this does. Keep forgetting that's what you can't. Where is that? There we go. It's going to launch. Is it too high? We are surfaced here. Maybe we need to cease fire. Cease fire. And go to shallow depth.
110.
Head 2/3. Oscar class submarine. This is the same type of sub that the Kursk was. And this entire front bow section ahead of the sail, the conning tower, was completely destroyed by a single torpedo. I don't know which kind of torpedo it was. Anyway, let's give these SSN-16s a go again. Should be able to fire now. There we go. Up it goes, and woo! And now it's essentially an ASROC. Anti-submarine rocket-launched torpedo. Parachutes down into the water. It's essentially a much quicker variant of an anti-submarine torpedo. If you have the known location of a submarine, as that happens again. Oh, I've just taken a screenshot somehow. But yeah, if you have the rough location of the thing, you can find it. You launch that at it quickly. Because it's the UGMT-1, so this is the multi-purpose version of the torpedo, that's the word. Is anti-submarine only, though. And of course we have a whole bunch of planes. Got airliners. Boeing 707, DC-10, IL-62, Tu-154. We've got a huge amount of fighter jets, including this little thing, MiG-28 Fracture, which as you can see is just an F-5 Tiger. It's the plane from Top Gun. Attack aircraft, armed bizjet. Huh. It's got a couple of AM-39 Exocets. I wonder who would have used such a machine. KO-45, I don't think these ever existed. We've got helicopters, SA-321, MD-500, HH-3, the Jolly... No, that's not the Jolly Green, is it? Oh, that's the Jolly Green Giant. AH-1, SH-2 Sea Sprite, SH-3 Sea King, Milmi 14. Land-based maritime patrol helicopter. We've got bombers, B-52, D and G variants, AWACS, E3 Sentry, E2 Hawkeye, the paper P-42, electronic warfare planes, EA-6, Co-45, Tu-16, anti-submarine warfare planes, P-3, IL-38, Tu-142. Look at this thing, man. Fighter Lim 6, the Lim 6, that's the Polish variant of a MiG-17. Yes. Interceptors, like, there's so many things here. And of course, many land things as well. Land things. Air bases. I wonder, can we launch planes from this? We can. Only F-14s. Replace. F-14s. Isfjorder. F-4s, F-15s, CH-46s. There's just so many just things. It's unbelievable. M163 Vulcan, M1 Abrams, T-72 Ural, self-propelled artillery, M102, M109A2 Paladin, 155mm howitzer. Where is this? There we go. Unfortunately,
No track assigned.
can't shoot at anything. Anti-ship missiles. We can fire silkworm missiles.
Roger that.
Look at it.
Bulldog away. Track.
And then it reloads for 5 minutes. Russian silkworm. No, Chinese silkworm and Iranian silkworm. So the silkworm is the SSN-2. I could have sworn it was Soviet. SA-6 Gainful. Gecko, that's Osa. Ganef. Oh, the Ganef is such a strange missile. Look at that thing. Fire! Fire! He doesn't have radar? Come on. There we go. Fire! Look at it go!
1, 0, 9, 8.
Huh, the boosters have come off. Can it catch the silkworm? You can see the silkworm right there with the trail. Here comes the SA-4. Oh, and it's a miss. Come on. Get it. Go, Mr. Ganef.
0, 9, 8.
Is it fast enough? Got SA-10s. Is that the Grumble? No. Yes, it's the Grumble. And it's run out of range. Bye. Oh. But yeah, I think I've wasted enough time here in the Encyclopedia. We're going to have to come back, because I wanted to do a scenario here. There's no tutorials, but there is actually this scenario, Dong Hoi, which I've seen played a couple of times, which I wanted to give a go and see if I could do it any better, or just fail. So we shall see In the meantime, though, thank you very much for watching, and we'll hopefully see you in future.